but these are the 4 freedoms.
Okay.
All right. First is freedom of time. When I was with the Massimo Group, I was the COO. My time was as a W-2 employee. And if I wanted to take off for a day, like I would have to go get permission from him to not work for the good of the Massimo Group and actually spend my time for other purposes. Well, now that I'm the boss, I can just do that. I have the freedom to spend my time the way I like. I don't need permission. That's a really nice thing. And I think a big draw for a lot of people to want to be their own boss or want to be an entrepreneur or want to own their own business is they get that time freedom.
The irony in that too, because when they get it, they realize how much more time they're spending on trying to make a business work too, right?
Often the case is they'll start a business then they realize they got to work harder than they ever imagined they were going to have to. And
right.
Yep. The second thing is the freedom of money or financial freedom. This is the idea that if there's an opportunity or something you want to do, if you have enough money, you have the freedom to do it. Like there's not a limitation, which is also a very appealing thing about being an entrepreneur or running your own business. And a lot of people that get in commercial real estate, I've heard this over and over again. Well, I was going down this path, but then I was working with this developer or this commercial real estate broker, and I saw the clothes that they wore, and I saw the car that they drove, and I saw how much fun they seemed to be having, and I just thought, man, I want those things. Yeah. What they're saying is, I want financial freedom. I want the riches. This next one might be a little less obvious, but it's freedom of relationship.
Oh.
If our company here is successful enough, we will get to the point where we have the freedom to say no to working with certain people that we don't want to work with. So I can get to the point where I can profile the people I want to work with.
Right.
I can try to attract certain people that are our ideal clients and customers. Mm-hmm. And by definition, that would mean that there are some who aren't our ideal customers and clients, and we can choose not to work with those people.
That's the same thing in the acting industry.
I'm sure, probably in any industry.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And all around, yeah.
And that improves your quality of life. Like if you only work with people that are a great fit, people you like, people you gain a tremendous amount of satisfaction in helping them accomplish their goals, and those goals are aligned with your goals and the values of your company. Like if all of that is in alignment and stuff, that's an incredibly satisfying thing.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm helping people, and I'm not saying anything like that means we only work with followers of Jesus. That's not the case.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And then the last one is freedom of purpose.
Huh.
And if you have time freedom and you have financial freedom and you have relationship freedom, then what you find is that you're in a place where you have the time, money, and network to serve the purposes that are meaningful to you. And that could be anything. Mm-hmm. So if you take those 4 freedoms and start from a place that God owns it all and I'm just a manager, then it would flow like this, I think. If I have the freedom of time, then I can choose to invest my most valuable resource, which is my time, into things that I care about the most. So in the last couple of weeks, you might just think, well, Bo has worked less and watched a lot of basketball games. Well, that's true. I've been in the office a lot less than a normal week, and I've watched a lot of basketball games that don't actually mean anything. This is summer basketball. But what I've done is I've invested in my relationship with my daughter.
Right.
I've shown up for her.
Yeah.
And what I really want is I want her to know that Dad shows up for me.
Yeah.
He's my biggest fan. The next time something goes wrong, he's a safe place for me. You know, that's how I'm. Plus, I just love watching her play, and I've spent all kinds of time with her in the gym. I'm watching her put the work in, and I've got the time freedom to invest in that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Now, there's nothing eternally beneficial about basketball necessarily.
Yeah,
but what I want her to learn.
A lot of people would disagree with you.
Yeah, that's true, especially in Kentucky.
Yeah.
But what I want her to learn.
Behind you.
Yeah, look, I'm a fan, no question.
Oh man, that little clip right there is gonna go viral with angry UK fans. Nothing internally beneficial about basketball.
But look, what she's doing is she is sacrificing her time. She's putting the work in, not only for what she gets out of it, but what for what the team gets out of it. She's going to make a great employee later on in life.
Yeah.
Or a great entrepreneur. She knows how to play a role on a team. She knows how to defer to people with greater strengths. She knows how to, there's so many great life lessons and all of that.
Unstoppable she will be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's true.
And I've got the time freedom to invest in that. When it comes to financial freedom, I'm not the wealthiest guy in the world, not even close. But I've got a certain amount of financial freedom at this point so that when, like if I'm moved to do something for someone or to support a cause financially, I have the means to say yes to that. And that hasn't always been true for a follower of Jesus. If they accomplish this point where they have a certain amount of financial freedom, that gives them the ability to say yes when they're led to do something. And then with relationship, like freedom of relationship, and look, I'm not a proponent of, if somebody's a Christian and they're a business owner, then every client and every customer ever needs to hear the gospel and they just need to be evangelizing all the time. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on. I'm not suggesting that. What I am suggesting is you're ready at any point to honor God in any relationship that you're in. And that may play out by just being honest and putting them first. So sometimes in commercial real estate, and I would say in any business, your client's best interests are not your best interests. And so you find yourself in a little bit of a conundrum. If I do A, I serve the client's interest. If I do B, I serve my interests. So which one do I need to do?
You got an example of that?
Yeah, and let's save that.
Okay.
We'll get into that a little bit more.
All right.
And then when it comes to freedom of purpose, like I've got a buddy of mine who discipled me in college, and now he works for a company, or it's not a company, it's an organization. Here's what they do. Their mission is for a church to be within walking distance of everybody on the planet. Really big goal, all right? And so what they do is they come alongside congregations that don't have a location in countries that are very hostile to the gospel or whatever, and they help them build churches. So they raise funds in America, and they come alongside existing congregations and build them a building that ends up being their church. It ends up being a community center. It ends up being a place, a safe place for the community. In a lot of cases, it ends up being like a safe house for women being rescued out of sex slavery and human trafficking situations and stuff like that. It's really cool what they do.
Yeah.
Well, because our company has been a certain amount of successful, when he was sharing that with me, I was like, man, I'd love to be able to do something like that. And so our company has been able to fund a church being built in India. That's the kind of freedom of purpose. Like we have the freedom here to spend time and resources on the things that we think really matter and make a difference in the world.
Right.
So
yeah.
Those are kind of the four freedoms as strategic coach would lay them out, and then how I would think somebody who's a follower of Jesus would view them.
Okay.
The other concept I wanted to mention is, and this is something that I heard from Brian Kroll for the first time. I don't know if he framed this up or if it came from somewhere else. I'm not sure, but I heard this from him, and it's the idea of a triple bottom line business.
If you like that, you can watch another clip right here. If you want to watch the full episode, right here.
Do it.